I'm Clem Papineau, and this is Finlandia Fridays.
Welcome to Finlandia Fridays. My name is Michael Babcock. I am your host for this weekly interview series here at Finlandia University. This week we are joined by an alum of Suomi College, not Finlandia University.
Correct, Suomi.
We have Clem Papineau here. Clem, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, we're excited to have you, and I feel like I know you very well already, as I've listened to a really long interview you did on one of our other podcasts, Leading the Pride, which if you haven't had a chance to go to that after you listen to this episode, make sure you go through our archives, find Leading the Pride from January. It was a great episode you did. Talk a little about being on that podcast, what it's like to been reconnecting a little bit with Finlandia.
Well, we reconnect all the time on Facebook with Suomi Roomies, but it was pretty cool when Olivia called me, and in fact, it was way cool, not just pretty cool, it was way cool, when she called and asked me to do the podcast. I mean, I thought it was a huge honor, and I mean, I was so excited, told everybody about it. So, it was really, really neat to do.
Well, and if it makes you feel better, she was the same way. I mean, very exciting. And we'll go into your career. I mean, you have an incredible career that you've had since coming to Finlandia. Let's first tell the story about how you ended up at Finlandia and where your career took you.
Okay, so I'm from Ontonagon, which is just a small town, about 50 miles from here, and was getting ready to go to college, and had originally decided to go to school at Michigan State. Until I found out that there was 50,000 students there, it blew me away. Didn't want to be anywhere near that many people. So I was playing actually in a basketball game in Iron River in the Junior Winter Olympics that we had here, and we were playing the championship game, and Coach Tom Rainier, the basketball coach here at Suomi, or Finlandia now, was the referee, and he talked to me after the game about coming to Suomi to play basketball. There was already a couple kids from Ontonagon playing basketball here, but he asked me to come here. So I ended up talking to my parents about it, and they thought it was a better fit for me to be close to home, and came to Suomi to do that. Did not play basketball, though. Yeah. I mean, I played a lot of basketball here, but I didn't join the basketball team.
The Gladiators have a rich history of basketball, too. It's a very basketball
Really
community.
do. A lot of people, and I think one of the leading scorers still at Suomi history is a kid named Jim Antla from Ontonagon that played here when I was here.
I like that. So tell us about then, you came here for criminal justice, you ended up transferring out before you graduated. Go into some of the stuff you've done in your career. And there's more details in the podcast, but I would like just this overview of it.
Right. So, I had this burning desire. I just, like most kids, I couldn't wait to put a gun on and be a policeman, because that's something I always wanted to do, was be a police officer. I razor focused on my career early in life, probably my 7th grade year in junior high. So I had everything planned out, knew what I wanted to do. The only way to carry a gun under 21 back then was to join the Army. So after I finished school, I joined the Army, became a military policeman, met a girl from Arkansas while I was stationed in California, applied for the Little Rock Police Department, got hired, and went through the ranks as a police officer, did time patrol, was undercover, and then became a detective, finally ending up as a homicide detective.
That's it's pretty incredible how that'll happen, and especially going through it in such a quick thing here. As I said, this podcast, Leading the Pride, it has a lot more details on it, and it goes into some really cool stories and all the success. And you didn't end there; you've been doing a lot more since then too. Right.
So, it's really funny. So in the early '80s, I was trying to pay bills, and you can only make so much as a policeman back then. So my father-in-law was the full-time Army National Guard guy in the local community. And he knew that I liked the Army, so he said, hey, why don't you join the Guard, try it out for a year, and if you like it, you can re-enlist. If not, you just do it for 1 year. It'll help pay the bills. So sure enough, I joined the local National Guard Armory in 1982 and stayed all the way to year 2017 in the Army. So I did 37 years in the Army.
Where are some of the places you got to travel when you were doing that?
I've been all over the world. Iraq, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, over Europe, Panama, South Korea, Guatemala, all kinds of places.
That's excellent. And I know a lot of our students here and a lot of the other people that are listening to this podcast, they're thinking about their career. What would you tell somebody who is interested in getting either into the military or somebody that's interested in getting into the police force?
Well, it's like I was talking to a student today. It's all about, planning for what you want to do and to prepare that roadmap to what you want to do. I told this student today he was really interested in the military, but I could see that it may have been more about the monetary benefits of being in the military, paying for your college, getting a bonus, getting a paycheck. But, the military can be a very hard partner. They expect a lot from you, and it's not forgiving like if you were in the private sector. in a job, well, if I don't like my job, I just quit. Well, you just can't quit the military. Once you sign a contract, you're there for that period of that contract. So my only advice on that would be is if you choose the military, it's a great place. I mean, after 37 years, I have a great retirement, great benefits. I've done all kinds of really cool stuff, that you see on TV and movies and TV shows and commercials. I mean, we do all that kind of stuff in the Army. Or the Navy, the Marines Corps, Air Force, whatever. You do all that kind of stuff. And being in the police department and in the Army at the same time, I mean, I was just out there running and gunning and having fun. And still am to this day since I've gone back to the police department now.
It's all really exciting. Like I said, you got to listen to this podcast. It's a lot of fun to go through some of the stories that you have in the background, little things like that. I want to thank you for your service. It means a lot to all of us to have people go and do that.
It's my privilege to do it.
Yeah, that's excellent. And let's go a little bit more into that criminal justice stuff too. You have these students who are majoring in criminal justice that this is kind of what they want to get into is this police work. What would you say to somebody who's just getting started in that path?
Okay, so one of the things that you have to understand is making your way through the police department. I think a lot of people watch a lot of crime shows on TV and they get all excited about the rather quickly rise that you can do, and it's not like that at all in real life. Everybody has to start off as a patrolman, and I think a lot of students that go into criminal justice, I don't think the program tells them about that. You got to be a patrolman before you can be a detective to do the cool stuff. So even though I think patrol division is where all the cool stuff happens, I mean that's where the fun is. So detective work is just a total different animal. But I think that you have to prepare yourself to be able to realize that you have to have a plan to get where you're going. That it doesn't happen overnight. It does take a little bit of work on your part to get there.
That's excellent. And this all kind of makes sense too, where one of the things that you're doing on campus right now is you're actually working with one of our students as part of our new alumni mentoring program. Talk a little bit about what made you interested in that and what that's been like.
Well, I think one of the things the Army instills in you, especially as an officer, is mentoring younger officers. I mean, that's just something that we are taught to do right from the time we become an officer, is always being able to guide and prepare those younger soldiers, whether they're enlisted or whether they're officers, to move up in the ranks like you are. And you want to make sure that they don't make the same mistakes that you made or, like that. Like I had a mentor, he's a 2-star general, and, I could call him for anything I wanted to and, and say, oh my God, I really screwed up today. And he would be able to calm me down and say, let's see how we're going to do this, and we'll fix this. And you want that type of thing. And I think the same thing is even if you're in the private sector, you want somebody that's away from it to give you an outside opinion and maybe give you a different path to go down. And sometimes you don't get that from mom and dad. You don't get it from college professors. You need another person that's been out there a little bit longer that can do that.
Excellent. What was it like? I believe the student you're working with is Manny,
right.
Who's a multi-sport athlete, which is very exciting. What was it like meeting with him, and how do you think that relationship?
It was pretty cool to meet him because you realize that you're that this young man is looking for you for advice. It's kind of daunting, a little scary at first, but he was so easy to talk to, and he seems like he understands and he has a plan right now. He does have a plan, and hopefully between now and whenever, him and I will be able to work on that plan and get it better for you. I mean, you got to have a base. You got to have somewhere to go first, and I think he has that. I mean, you can't be a 2-star athlete and go to college at the same time if you don't have your stuff together.
Absolutely. We appreciate you doing that. And if you are an alumni out there and you're interested in becoming a mentor for somebody, we'd love to have you join us. If you go to finlandia.edu/alumni, you'll be able to find some information on that and how you can get involved. And same with our students. If you're a student out there and you're like, I just want somebody else to talk to. I want another person that I can work with. Go to finlandia.edu/alumni and get a hold of Olivia Meyer. She'll be able to help you kind of get involved in this program so that you can find somebody to help you out. The final thing I want to do is talk a little bit about, and we're going to go real quick on this, but you have a YouTube series talking about bourbon and military history.
Right. I guess I had a crisis in life maybe when you turn 60. I decided, I really like bourbon, and I'm a huge military history guy. So I looked on YouTube, and nobody's doing it. They do bourbon, they do history, but nobody did it together. So I just decided that I wanted to do a YouTube channel. I mean, everything's on YouTube. I mean, if I want to build something with wood, I go on YouTube first to see how it's done. So I go on, and I like to drink bourbon, so I'll open up a bottle of bourbon. We'll talk about the bourbon, and we'll talk military history, and maybe a battle or something like that, and we'll sip bourbon and just talk, and it's fun.
Excellent. What's your favorite bourbon?
George T. Staggs.
All right. Take note of that. Let's make sure you get some of that. And thank you so much for being on this week. We'll have a link to the episode, a link to the Alumni Mentoring Program, a link to the Leading Pride episode you did a while ago, all in the show notes. So check it out at finlandia.edu/Fridays. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for being on. and we'll see you guys next Friday.